Let me tell you my story of how, instead of being fired and replaced by an AI software, I've got a promotion and became the youngest VP in a publicly traded company at the age of just 29 years old. It is really hard to learn new things and implement them into your workflow, comparatively for your boss to find a replacement that already knows how to do your job better and knows the new ways of doing your job. And it's mostly true right now because of these new AI tools coming out every week. It's more true than ever. It seems to me now that in a couple of years, most of us, the middle managers in the big companies, will be replaced by AI automation. It's already happening in so many places, in call centers, with support staff, copywriters, you name it, designers. Everyone's affected now, and more and more jobs are being affected day by day. So I wanted to share with you my story of how I was faced with this new change when I was working in a big company. And I learned from my colleagues that there's going to be a big shift. There's going to be like a lot of firing and implementing new tools instead of workers. So when I found out that, it was a bit of a shock, but it all turned out well. I always felt this pressure myself of keeping up with new technologies. I always worked in marketing, so it always required from me learning new tools, implementing them into my work, sharing it with my team. It was a part of my job. But right now, because of these new generative AI tools that you need to implement basically in every part of your business, it's harder and harder to keep up. So this story happened when I was working as a team lead in the marketing department in a big publicly traded company. I'm not gonna name it, but let me say it was like multi-billion-dollar company, and it was a pretty big deal for me to be working in the place. It was really nice. And because of this big structure, a lot of people working in the company, I wasn't quite sure how I can progress. Do I even want to progress in this company? Do I want to grow? Do I want to get a promotion? Do I want to have more responsibilities, less responsibilities? I wasn't sure because it was so huge and had so many different areas where it worked. So for me, it was really hard and challenging to find my way where I wanted to go. At the time, I didn't have any specific goals for myself or anything. Just like, I wasn't like reading information in the morning about like I wanted to achieve this and that, and I wasn't doing like meditations or like jogging and repeating some motivational speeches and so on. So it wasn't all like that at all for me. I was like a normal person. I have a family, I have a wife and a couple of kids. So for me, it was like just a normal life. And I was trying to figure out what I want to do next. I felt like always my work gave me purpose. I really took pride in my work. I always like to work a lot and hard, and I felt like if you work hard and you put enough effort and give it some time, eventually it will benefit you like financially and socially as well. But mostly I was spending a lot of time at work, so obviously my personal life at home wasn't that great. So I had to sacrifice some time from my family and from my friends and from my personal hobbies as well. So I think it's all normal, especially when you're young, to make this choice, especially if you're doing it consciously. If you think like, yeah, I really want to get this thing, get good at it, so we need to keep focused and don't distract with some other things. As you can imagine, when you're young, you get pretty distracted after you having a wife and the kids and family grow, so you get more responsible, but generally not as fast as you wish or the people think you are. I mean, even if you say like I have 2 kids, but again, I'm still like I wasn't at the time even like 30. So for me to be like really dialed in and down to earth person, it wasn't about me at all. I always wanted to chase some new thing, something that was always changing, and that's why I picked marketing in the first place. It's so dynamic, and I get pretty boring if the processes repeat itself. So for me, marketing, advertising, all of these areas were great because there's always something new to test, always something new to learn. Yeah, and when the AI came into this space, I was really, really excited because you see a lot of changing, you see you need to learn new behavior, how to use this tool like ChatGPT or something. You need to learn different new tools that are coming out, implementing them, trying them. Most of them weren't good, but still, it was really fun. Yeah, so this story happened like one time. I went to lunch with my manager, Gary, and we were talking about like what's gonna be going next, like the next quarter, like new projects, something exciting, something new. And he said, "Yeah, I've got called out, and the top managers wanted me to collect some ideas how we can implement these new AI tools into our workflows." And was basically sharing with me like overall like general idea about this new big project that he's going to be doing. And in the depths of the conversation, I kind of understood that from the context, not directly, but he needs to improve his efficiency of the processes, so basically get more done faster or in a better quality. And at the same time, managers asked him to cut some costs because there were tough times at that year, so we needed to cut some corners, cut some costs where we could. And obviously, not obviously for most of you, but people who work in advertising, for example, they know if you need to cut some budget in any part of the company, the easiest place to cut is either your subcontractors, which you can just simply drop, or you can reduce the spending. And advertising is pretty direct spend on the user acquisition or the retention or the brand. So it's pretty easy to just come to marketing department and say, okay, we're gonna cut like 20%. And it's really easy to do operational. Not only is it easy to find this money, it's also pretty easy to not to spend them, because we can just make some changes in the advertising campaigns, the setup, the budgets, and so on. It takes like a couple days for most companies. So yeah, it's always the first place where people look. But again, if you cut the advertising budgets, you also reduce the amount of new users coming into your service or product or website or whatever. So it's not advisable to cut if you can keep it, but still, yeah, people always do it. And this was like another case for me. It was pretty clear that they wanted to cut some costs, and but the requirement was quite significant. So I felt like he's going to be also cutting some people from the team. And he was looking for new tools which can replace some specific roles, not only like enhance the tasks for some managers under him, but also just completely replace them with the automation. And I wasn't sure if it's even possible at that time, but I said, okay, I mean, I understood him. And at the time I felt like kind of threatened a little bit because I felt I might be one of these guys who could be replaced, basically. I wasn't working for that long at the company at the time, for around a year. So I felt like I could be easily replaced with an automation. And also I was working in the performance department. I had an advertising performance team. So we had a lot of repetitive tasks. We had a lot of managerial tasks as well, and analytics tasks as well. So I felt like with so much repetitive processes, it could be possible quite easily to cut the team like in half and replace us with some tools. And I wasn't even sure. For me, it was always the question: can you cut the team lead? But the team lead costs like two or three like managers, right, in the salary. So for you can leave all the managers, and you can automate some of their part of the job, and just fire the team lead. And basically you will have the same amount of hands. They will do more work because of the new automation. All you need is to figure out how to manage them efficiently, so you spend a lot of time talking to them and like managing them, basically. So it's not the common approach, but sometimes companies, instead of firing specialists, they just fire the team lead, and the specialists will stay. And because of the salary differences, it actually becomes better in terms of like short-term goals of reducing costs. But for the long term, I mean, it almost never works because depending on the team, you need most of the time to have a manager that will tweak tasks for each person, so they will perform their best, and he knows how to delegate them correctly, who has like the strongest parts of the weakest parts of the teammates. So I felt like it's pretty hard to replace good manager, but still I wasn't sure at the time, and I was kind of like, and also because of the family, I always feel some pressure or responsibility to always provide and to be at my best. So I thought to myself, okay, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen anyway, so what can I do about it? And maybe I can help. Maybe I can be of help. I think that's the best approach. If you don't know like where it's gonna go, it's just better to try to figure out how you're gonna help. I spent some of my like free time after work searching these new tools with generative AI for different marketing roles and marketing tasks and marketing processes. I was trying to find something useful, and my general idea was, I'm gonna like, if I find something useful, I will show it to Gary, and if he thinks it's useful as well, he will use it in his proposal for the top managers, and maybe if they will decide to implement it, he will bring me along to help me with the implementation because I found it. So I felt like it makes some sense, so I'm gonna try it. And I started researching. I found some nice tools I felt gonna be very useful. I wasn't doing it like in a rush or anything, just like for months I was collecting these tools and researching, and I collected some. I decided I will make a small, pretty simple presentation for my boss, and to show him everything, explain what I thought and how it could help. I set up the meeting, we met, I showed him everything, I explained to him why I wanted to help. It was like all done in free time, so it wasn't like cutting any working time for that, and I was really wanted to help, and I was really excited about this new technology and how we can implement it and so on. Basically what I asked him, so I didn't have any direction from him about this project, so I asked him if he thinks it's a good idea for me to be doing that and to helping him into researching these tools and implementing them. I think it's good. I asked him to share like more details about the tasks, about the project, the timeline, the deadline, everything, and how exactly he thinks I could be of help. So the response I got was like quite shocking for me, because I thought he might be like not sure if it's good or not good, or he wanted to do it, don't want to do it. Maybe, I mean, I didn't know what he's going to say to me, but the response was quite great. Actually, he said to me that he was searching these tools for himself as well, but there are so many of them, it's really hard to find. So, and also because he is like overseeing the several different areas of marketing, he has like a pretty broad knowledge of every area and how to connect them. But when he goes deep, for him it's really hard to assess if the tool for this specific task is actually going to be useful for the managers, for the people who are doing these tasks, because he is not doing them for a long time, right? So for him it's really hard to assess them. So when he started to researching them, he figured out, okay, I cannot really understand like which tools are good, which tools are not good. We had some troubles with it. He didn't tell me, but it turned out, yeah, he had troubles. So when I showed him my part, I said, okay, it's great. It's really what I needed, because I was looking at these tools as well, but I couldn't understand if they are good or not. But you can say to me, you can tell me if they are good or not. So that's great value for him. So he shared with me like every detail about the project and what's going to happen, how he's going to present it, and when is the deadline. It was like next week or something, so it was like quite a rush after that meeting. So what we agreed on is that we're going to be discussing these specific proposals that I made. We're gonna tweak them, decide which one we wanted to implement, and he'll bring me along. Basically, he said I need to present to the top managers my proposal for how we're going to implement these new tools, what's the timeline, what's the budget, what the results were going to be, like projected results and so on. And he said, because you researched them so much. I'm gonna bring along you to this meeting, and you will explain the details of your part, and I will explain the details of other parts. So it's all gonna be great. I said, okay, awesome. I was so happy. I stayed late because of this project, because my other responsibilities were there as well. So I had to do everything that I usually do, and I do this preparation for this meeting as well. So it took a lot of time. I was coming from work really late. My wife wasn't happy, so I wasn't happy in that sense. I mean, I was happy about the job part. I wasn't so happy about missing my kids going to bed and so on. So long story short, the day comes, we got the presentation. It wasn't ready, but it was good enough. And we get to this meeting. He starts to explain the strategy. Then he brings me along and says, okay, we are prepared this part because he's responsible for this team, right? So I showed them what I did, what I researched, what are my recommendations, why I think this is good, why I think this is bad, and so on. And my estimation of the budgeting for implementing this and for cutting costs in some areas. Like we can cut the budgets, advertising budgets, we can cut some teammates, we can cut we had different options basically, because it wasn't my job to decide which one is the best. I just wanted to show all the possibilities and what I think about them, and pluses and minuses of each of them. Well, basically that's what I did. And response was generally was fine. Nobody was saying anything good or bad during this meeting. Okay, we understand your proposal, we need to think about it and so on. Just leave us with the presentation, and we'll check it out, and we will sit on the numbers, and we'll come back. Was it great? It was awesome. And after the meeting finished, I was already heading to the door, and couple of VPs, a marketing VP and the operations VP asked me to stay and clarify some details about my part of the proposal, because I said, okay, no problem. So I stayed, and my manager, the Gary, wasn't worried about it. I was like, okay, no problem. He knows everything. You can ask him directly. He knows same as I know. I'll gotta go to the next meeting. So yeah, so I stayed, and they said, okay, we see that you really dug deep and you understand this field. We talked a little bit about how do I understand so much about these new tools, because I wasn't using them during my work, and I didn't have a lot of time. It's just the movement of generative AI just starting out, right? So for them it was quite unusual, how has it happened, and how do you know so much and so in depth. And I explained to them that I was researching it myself, and I'm really passionate about it, and I like it a lot. And they said, okay. And they said, we think we want you to run this process of implementing these tools, because we feel that we need a person not only who understands the field. And I was working at the time in marketing for about 10 years. So they said, we not only need a professional who understands the field, we also need a person who is passionate about this new wave of tools. And we see Gary is not really thrilled about these tasks. He will do them well, no problem, but he's not excited. And we also understand that it's okay, no problem. So they think and they feel if so basically what they proposed to me, that I can take this project of implementing these new tools into my department, into my team, and like a pilot project basically. So I take it as a lead, basically a new role. That's what it's meant. So it's going to be a role of leading this new process of implementing AI into different areas of marketing. First is going to be my department, because I know it well. After that, if it goes well, they will spread my responsibility to different marketing teams, and eventually I will be doing this kind of projects in different areas of business, not only in marketing but in other areas as well. So it was a big step for me. I was really surprised. I wasn't expecting it, or it was just shock, what's going on. And I was happy, and at the same time it was quite a surprise. So I was stunned, and I said, it sounds amazing, but let me think about it for a couple of days. I think the answer is going to be yes. I want to do it, but still, because it's such a big decision for me to change the area of my responsibility. Basically, I would become, instead of like managing the marketing tasks, right? I would be managing like mostly like operations, something, operations in marketing, processes in marketing, like different areas, budgeting more. So it was a different role. So I needed to some time to think about. Even I felt inside that it was a great opportunity, because I understood that they explained to me directly that it will mean that my role is going to change, my salary is going to change. It's going to be like a step up for sure. So I was grateful, and I was excited. But again, I needed some time to think, and I think it's really good if you have facing a big decision in front of you. Even if you know what you want to do, you still can take some time, like 1 or 2 days. Like, doesn't change anything in the scale of your lifetime, right? But it's still great to have some space and maybe talk to like your wife or like your friend, someone who you trust, who knows you, who can tell you, yeah, this will be good for you, or this is, I mean, you should think twice, right? So some people, sometimes you need to like, not like really to like get an opinion, just hear a second opinion, or just talk, to just express what you think about it, and see how people react. The close ones in your life always, even if they don't tell you directly, you can see, you can feel like how they feel about it, right? So sometimes I do that with the big decisions, and yeah, it helps me. So I took a couple of days like to think about it, and they said, I mean, if you decide like to leave, no problem, we're gonna like discuss it with your manager, with your boss, no problem, or he will understand. It's a new step up for you, it's a new position, so he'll be happy for you, no problem. So you're not gonna you're not gonna mess up the processes, the current process, and your team as well. So we're all gonna figure it out, no problem. I went back home that night, talked to my wife. She said, I mean, it sounds amazing, but we don't see you a lot lately. So maybe, I mean, if you think if it will take like all your time, almost all your time, so maybe you should think twice about it. So I said, yeah, but so I made sure when I came back to one of the VPs, I said, yeah, I will do it. It's great, but I just wanted you to let you know that I'm not gonna be doing like a lot of overtime work as I did, because I need some time with my family, and I'm gonna do like everything I can during the work time, but I can't do overtime right now. Maybe later, but not right now. They said, okay, it's understandable. We not expect you to work like 80 hours a week. It's gonna be fine. So all in all, this project went well. I got the next one and the next one, and it grew pretty quickly. So my area of responsibility grew very quickly from this position, and like in another like year and a half, I became a vice president, and I was responsible for implementing these processes and these tools in all departments, in all functions of the company. So I had a team of like 100 plus people working. Yeah, so I had a pretty big team. Basically, like I hired almost everyone, like new people. It was really exciting process, really hard, as you can imagine with this timeline. And I was super excited. I learned a lot. And my key takeaways, really, I learned later that my intuition was correct. And firstly, my manager did thought about cutting out a lot of people from my department. So that was like a good thing that I was proactive in that. But also, I feel like every change has two sides. The good side of this change, this new era of generative AI tools and new processes that we need to learn and implement. The good side is it's an opportunity for everyone. Everyone can learn new things, everyone can just move and try new stuff. And it's also a threat, I would say, for someone who can't figure it out, or didn't want to, or it's too lazy, or it's too hard. Yeah, it could be a threat to your job as well. But overall, I feel like you should trust in yourself, you should believe in yourself, and it's all gonna be fine in the end. So thank you guys for watching, and see you guys next one.